Hey there, YouTube. It's Kyle again with Kyle's Creations. What is in front of you, I believe, is somewhere between a 1967 to 70 Cushman Minute Miser. Of course, it's only part of it, what's in front of you right now. But originally, this little guy was an electric vehicle, primarily used in industrial situations, big factories or compounds, where guys needed to get around a little bit faster than they can walk. Three-wheeler. That's the front wheel there and the hub. It's got the rear diff, which is a limited slip. So you can see the other, when I turn the wheel one way, the other one goes the opposite direction. It does have something resembling suspension, like I was saying before the battery died. It does have something resembling suspension, those little springs. But what's kind of interesting, and I don't know if it'll do it with it up on these blocks. Now, it's kind of weird. It's kind of hard to see the way it works, but instead of the back part moving, suspension like that on those springs, the front half of it actually twists, and you can see as it runs down through here on the outside. So this inner part of the frame is actually the fixed point, and this, the outside, which runs up here to the front, is actually the moving part. So it's kind of interesting. But got that. I've got some wheels and tires. Here's the original rear split rims for it. I've got some tires and tubes and everything on the way. That, kind of buried in there amongst a bunch of stuff from Harbor Freight, is a electric start 212. It's actually a 7.5 horsepower, so I don't know if it's a little bit bigger or not or whatever, but 7.5 horsepower. We're going to do some upgrades, intake, exhaust, and remove the governor, 18-pound valve springs, that kind of stuff. But there's all that. I got to try to source some seals for this top shaft that's on here that's leaking. Obviously, you can tell there's a lot of grime on here, and of course, on the other side, it's actually leaking currently. The one thing that is kind of interesting is your brakes are actually on the right and your throttle is on the left. Now, this used to be an electric model, so it would have had an electric engine sitting in here, and then it came back to a jack shaft, which I've removed it because I'm making my own jack shaft with sprockets, chain sprockets. And actually, everything was actually belt driven, so there was a jack shaft here, a pulley that went here and across and then over to here. And this is all adjustable. This piece here, it's a little stiff, but you can see it's got some adjustment here and adjustment there. Now this is the body of it. Now that's the front there, where the electric motor and stuff would have sat underneath there. And then there would be a seat, basically a seat right here that was on a hinge, so it could, you could flip it up, kind of have a trunk. I think what we're going to do, there was already a hole there. I think we're going to put the gas tank right there, underneath there. And it's got a little trunk here. Nothing to write home about, but they would have used this, like I said, in an industrial situation to or like the maintenance guy at an industrial place would have used it to take his tools around and do different things, different jobs or whatever. So that's the Minute Miser. What we're going to do to it is a little bit more of a restoration. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some POR 15 from Rust-Oleum to paint just the bottom of the frame, you know, just the frame part of it here, and that's a rust. It's a paint slash rust inhibitor, and that stuff is super durable. So it'll stop any of the major rusting. And then on the outside of the body, we're just going to leave it, you know, we're just going to leave it with its patina. And we're going to take some linseed oil and wipe it down, just kind of make some of the paint that's been left on it pop a little bit. It looks like it's been painted about 3 or 4 times. It's white, it's orange, it's blue. I think originally it would have been orange, but so that's kind of what we're going to do with it. Now, one of the cool parts on it is, let me grab one of the wheels here. As you can see, because it's a split rim, it's got the 4 bolts in the middle that hold the wheels, you know, onto the hubs, and then it's got the 6 bolts around the edge. What we're going to do is we're actually going to powder coat these copper, and what you got to do is you got to spray them chrome, then a copper color, then a clear coat, but it'll look like shiny copper, and then the bolts are all going to be black, and that's really that's really about the only jazzing up or color that we're going to do on it. And then we'll probably do the same copper technique to all the springs, just to give it a little bit of a, you know, some pizzazz. There is a headlight bucket for it, which is over in my pile of stuff. I think I'm going to do the bucket part of the headlight in that chrome too, because it's pretty rusty and gross. But other than that, that is the Minimizer. So this is the first part right now. I'm just basically just all I'm doing for the prep on the frame is going over it with a wire brush, getting all the heavy flake and heavy stuff off, and then I'll spray, you know, I'll blow it off, you know, wipe it down, and then we'll just go over it. You know, I've got to clean up some of the grease and stuff on that rear end, and that's about it really. And of course, you know, a bunch for the wheels. I've got to sandblast those and prep those for the powder coat. But yeah, just gonna be kind of cool. I think we're gonna kind of make this the channel shop truck. You know, I mean, I've got a hardware store right around the corner. I've got a auto parts store right around the corner that I can literally cut through the neighborhood and get to it without actually ever hitting a major street. So it'd be kind of nice to just use this to putt around in, and it's gonna have a pretty good little, I'm hoping by the time that's 7.5 horsepower, it's pushing a little bit more like 9 horsepower by the time it's done. So just wanted to kind of bring you guys along for the first part. This will be kind of the first part of it, and we'll get you guys going. So thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll bring you back when we've got a little bit more done to the Minimizer. So, all right, thanks guys.